listen to this episode if you want to know my exact 4-step framework to get you to consistent sales that I bring every single one of my clients through that comes to me with not yet hitting online consistent sales yet. I have worked with over 400 businesses intimately to help them grow online and grow and sell more products through their online social channels. In this episode, I really want to break down my 4 major pillars of this overall consistent sales growth, what that really means, what it really looks like, and why we do what we do around here. Hello, welcome to the Small Business Growth Podcast. I'm your host, Madison Page, and in this episode, we are really breaking down the consistent sales point. I'm a business growth specialist, and I really love teaching you how to stand out and sell out on social media by building a ride or die community around your brand. Everything we do is through a community standpoint, and you will really see that in today's framework that we're speaking about. If you're watching on YouTube, my little puppy is getting neutered tomorrow, and he's sitting next to me on my bed in my bus in his cute little recovery suit. It has cute little dinosaurs on it. And if you're just watching or if you're just listening on the podcast, you are missing out on the glory that is little Mr. Arlo in his dinosaur recovery suit. So if you see him walking around, it's not a torture device, even though his little face might say that it is. He's gonna learn to love it, all right? It's better than a cone. So if you wanna see that, head on over to YouTube and you can watch the episode there. We're gonna talk about the 4 frameworks, the 4 steps of our framework to get to consistent sales. I have helped hundreds of business owners get to this online consistent sales mark. And a lot of the 400, the majority of the 400 have been getting to this point of natural, daily, seamless online sales is kind of the point that we are looking at. And yes, we've worked with people to help them scale their sales to $250,000, $500,000 and beyond. But this is really the major point that we're talking about today is when you're making a couple of sales a month or maybe a couple $1,000s a month, but you're really trying to hit a couple of sales naturally a day without always having to be launching, without always having to be having a sale going on. And what does that really take? We see all of these people building channels on social media, building online communities, but why are some of them able to buy and why are some of them able to be super successful online? And why are some people not buying from some of these other businesses? What it comes down to is really how your foundations of your brand are set up, how your marketing channels and your messaging that you have there are really creating desire, as well as the funnels that you have in place behind the scenes and the sales system that you have there in order to get people to really seamlessly move throughout your online sales funnels. And of course, community, how you really speak to your audience, how you get them to connect with you, and how you have built community over the time online, the real, true, wholehearted connection that you have with your audience. And so there are 4 steps to my major process. And if you've been in my community for a while, I may have introduced this to you before, but in everything, we're going to kind of dive into what this really means and why we do what we do. Our first step really is pillars. Pillars is the foundations of your brand. No matter what, if you aren't yet to consistent sales online, I want to make sure you have everything at the foundations of your brand really concrete in order to get you to stand out on social media. The foundations of your brand is really what sets you apart from everybody else in your industry. It's what sets you apart. It's what the visuals you have. It's your ideal customer. It's a lot of different pieces that really come back to who your brand is at the core and having a very strong understanding of who that brand is. Because without that, you can't really create content that is overly strong. You can't really create content that really stands out or that speaks to the right person or having messaging that is actually going to convert them. So even if you're making some sales, and it might not take a long time, it might take 30 minutes for us to really just look at your pillars and make sure that you have them really solid. Because if you don't, the rest of it is going to be a lot weaker than if we did have these things really, really solid. So week 1, we are tackling foundations. And the majority of you have at least a little bit of an idea of what your foundations should look like in your brand and what they are. And so it really is just finding clarity and understanding on exactly what it is that you're building and what people are looking for. And out there, if you don't really know what yours are, you need to really have this deep understanding of your brand in order to have proper community, in order to even know who you're trying to build in your community or your sales process or your messaging. How are you properly selling to people, or your marketing? How are you expecting yourself to have strong marketing, messaging, sales strategy without knowing who you're actually speaking to or what you're actually trying to build? Your lack of clarity at the foundation is felt tenfold on the other side of the screen, and that is something we need to tackle immediately. The next pillar is presence. Our presence pillar is one of the more important pillars. Why? Because 64% of people look at your online channels before buying from you anywhere else. So no matter if they see you in a store, anywhere else, or if they've heard of you and they just go and check you out, your online channel, your presence on social media, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, is at the core your representation of your brand. It is the first impression a lot of people have for your brand. And even if you hate social media, we need to have a really solid first impression. It is the future of, it's not even the future, it is the now of shopping online and even just shopping in general. And so we look at your presence and we build a very magnetic, attractive presence that builds desire around your brand. When I talk about marketing, I'm talking about building some crazy levels of desire and obsession around what it is that you are trying to build. I want people to come and find you and see your messaging, see your marketing, and using the stuff that we have built at the foundations of your brand through a social channel in order to really understand that. We're learning the 7 types of content. We're learning how to use these platforms and how to set them up in order to create sales, and how to use these channels to build incredible community. So number 2 is presence. It's really looking at your social media, and what the companies have that get to consistent sales a lot quicker is they have a presence that stands out, that has variety, that is a well-balanced kind of topics that they're talking about, because a lot of times people are too focused just on the product in their presence, where instead we're focusing on building emotion and building an overall well-rounded brand. And that brings us to the third pillar, is we focus on community. Community is so incredibly important when it comes to social media, and especially when it comes to building consistent sales, because community will help you build consistent sales sooner. It will help you get your first sold out launch sooner. It will help you build more word of mouth marketing. It'll help you have a higher customer retention rate, because people will be obsessed with your brand. Going back to that presence that's building desire, we want to have an online presence that is also building community and building things that people are absolutely obsessed with. And it's not just that they see your products and they're obsessed with your products. They come to your social and they want to engage with you. You're creating engaging content. You're getting connected with them. You're building overall community on social media. You're building a brand community that loves what you stands for, is authentic and genuine, where it doesn't feel like you're just selling to these people all the time. We're actually building this two-way street of people that are just obsessed with your brand, and you keep feeding that and nurturing that community as if it was a relationship. Because at the end of the day, your marketing should be seen as a relationship. That is something that sets my marketing, this is something that sets my marketing apart from a lot of other people, is a lot of other people are very transactional with the way that they want to sell. If you don't like that transactional salesy approach to marketing, it doesn't have to be that way. That is just transactional marketing. What we teach here is relationship-driven marketing. It is building relationship based on your product, your values, and your business. Again, going back to those foundations in order to really attract a community of people that are ride or dies, obsessed with your brand, that love what you stand for, because your product is unique. It's different. It's not just this everyday, day-to-day thing. You have specialty to your product that you might not even know, or your audience doesn't know, that we need to get them to see in order to get them there. So to recap what we already have, there is a fourth pillar, which is probably the most important pillar. The foundations is incredibly important, which is pillars. I know I just used that word in a different sense, but pillars, presence, and people. Pillars are the foundations which build a really magnetic and desire-filled presence, which allows us to build community. Your community will be based on probably Instagram for the majority of you. Some of you guys might be on Facebook, some of you might be on TikTok, but the community in general, the hub of your community, will most likely be on Instagram. So we need to know these foundations, understand how to utilize Instagram and some of your other channels, and then we will go into the people, which will get your community really thriving, people engaging with you, your DMs full, your comments loaded, and we'll keep on building from there. The fourth and final pillar to get you to consistent sales, and probably the most important to actually creating sales, is the overall profits pillar. What this is your profits. A section is going to help you create a natural sales funnel with your online channels. Because believe it or not everything is just done on Instagram. It's your website, it's your emails, it's your Instagram. And yes, you can get a lot of people to buy from you right on your Instagram stories. If done right, 90% of your sales can happen from your Instagram stories. But these other channels work for you when you're not working. Your emails and your website. These are two things that are set up and working for you that we need to have seamlessly working so you can get your first sale nearly immediately from these people when they find you. We need to have these three areas working really seamlessly that when they do buy from you, they want to buy from you again right away, or they've bought from you and they're coming back time and time again. In order to get people to buy from you and have consistent sales online, we have these three channels that are really easily and naturally and seamlessly working together. This is something I talked about last week on the Friday episode when people asked me about the seamless online sales funnel. It is having different channels because sales come in different ways, set up in order to be selling for you so you don't even have to be working. How do you work smarter and not harder on social media is you understand these four major pillars and how to turn your online channels into a seamless sales funnel. So we want to look at your foundations because you really can't make sales if you're solid, big time, multi-six-figure online sales without a solid foundations of your brand. And then we build the presence. We get you to master social media, understand what your content really looks like, and put the proper messaging out there in order to build desire around your products. We need to have a well-rounded marketing strategy because too many people are just talking about their product and it's not actually going to convert into sales for them. And then the third one is community. We build community, we build people that are obsessed with your brand, and then we turn all of this into a seamless sales funnel with a cute little bow on top because it's gonna work for you no matter where you are and what you're doing. Because things are set up even when you are not working, which is something that is so incredibly important when we talk about consistent online sales. Do you think all of these brands are just out there depending on every single time that they post in order for them to make sales? Does that happen? Yes, but emails make sense. Emails make sales. Your website needs to be optimized in order to make sales. So we look at your business as a well-rounded sales funnel and we make sure that you are 100% set up for people to come in, find the desire marketing that you're looking for, and already be absolutely obsessed with your brand and want to buy very naturally, very seamlessly, and honestly, pretty urgently because they need what you have to offer. If this is something that you have no idea where to start with, this is exactly the 4-pillar framework that I use inside of Product to Profit, which is my signature program to teach you how to get to consistent sales on social media. So if you're listening to this, you probably haven't yet hit that multi-sales a day, maybe 1, 3, 5, 10 sales a day mark in your business that you would love to hit. Maybe it's $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $20,000 in sales a month, whatever that number is for you for consistent sales. You need to first master these 4 things: your foundations, your presence online, your magnetic online presence, your marketing, your messaging, your community building. How do you get people involved and nurtured into a ride or die loving kind of audience? And then last but not least is your sales funnel. These are the 4 things that I have found after working with over 400 business owners and helping them build their business, is that they need these 4 things really in place. And when I work with people that are making $250,000, $500,000 in product sales, selling jewelry or candles or clothing or whatever it might be online, the things that they have really solid are these 4 things. They know their marketing, they know their business inside and out, they know they have a community that's already obsessed with their brand, they've already built that to some degree, and they have systems working for them so they don't always have to be working. And the thing that I am always going to teach you is that balance between freedom and fulfillment. And so freedom is being able to have balance. Fulfillment is going to be able to have a thriving business. You can have a thriving business and a thriving life outside of your business all at once. They can coexist if we build in a seamless sales funnel, because things are working for you without you having to be working all of the time. If this is something you have no idea, PTP is open for enrollment. We start 1 week from today. We are just having a couple of spots left. We have started on June 17th is the day that we are starting. We've sold out the last 3 rounds of this program. This is our bread and butter program to help you get to consistent sales. If you want to master your social media, finally understand how to make sales online despite anything else, the algorithm, the economy, no matter what, my clients inside of my programs are seeing record-breaking sales day in and day out, month in and month out, when they do implement this strategy. It works. I know that it works because I have put so many people through this exact same system. Getting to consistent sales really is a skill set. If you've seen this, Grant Cardone, who's like a big business tycoon, has this TV show that he is given $100,000, or no, he is given a brand new business idea and he has to turn it into a $100,000 business. I think it's in 90 days. And the reason he can do that without using his money, without using his network, without using anything other than his brain and his own actions, the reason he can do that alongside of all of these other things that he's already doing is because he has the skill set for it, is because it is a science, because it does take a certain amount of the exact same things in order for us to get there. And so when you're really looking at your business, is you have to understand that it is a skill set. We aren't born knowing this. And if you've been in my podcast community for a while, you've heard me say this. You wouldn't try to join a band without knowing how to play an instrument or without knowing how to read music. You wouldn't try to go to the Olympics without having a coach of some kind to teach you the fundamentals of the sport. It's exactly what it is for your business as well. You wouldn't try to bake a cake without a recipe. This is the recipe in order for you to make the best cake. This is teaching you how to read music in order for you to be in your dreamiest boy band or girl band or whatever, little indie folk band or EDM DJ, whatever it is. This is that secret kind of sauce. Just like Grant Cardone can do it, you can learn the things that people need in order to reach consistent sales. You need solid foundations of your brand. You need marketing that is really creating a lot of desire. You need a product that is incredible, like I know yours is. You need to focus on building community and people that love your product, as well as you need to focus on having sales systems in place to sell for you. This can't be a manual sales process. When you are selling, we can't manually be selling to absolutely everybody. And that's what you're doing when you're just tossing content out there. If you're feeling like you're kind of guessing in everything you're doing and you're just like hoping that at some point maybe a video goes viral and something sticks, that is honestly going to be more frustrating than it is confidence building, than it is empowering, than it is going to make you sales in that long run. Community guarantees sales in the long run, now and forever, through no matter what, through your algorithm, through Instagram getting shut down, through whatever it is, your community will follow you anywhere if you build enough desire and you build enough of that connection with them. This isn't adding a bunch of things to your plate. This is taking what you're currently doing, tweaking it and making it work better. We might have to add a couple of email stuff to it. We might have to make a few website tweaks just to make sure that your website is really working seamlessly. But this is having me inside of your business in order to really see consistent sales and having me as almost like a business growth partner in your business alongside with you. If this is sounding like something you have no idea how to do on your own, I would love to bring you through this process together for 90 days and we can dive on in and really take you through this process. This is me and you. This isn't you and 100 people. This is me and you. And so these 4 steps are so incredibly important in order to fully understand that. We are opening enrollment in PTP, and we just have a couple of spots left. We have sold out the last 3 rounds, which is all year last year and the beginning of this year, because it really does work. This is our bread and butter program. We have incredible results. We have had 100 people quit their 9-to-5. We've had dozens of people hit their first 6-figure year after looking at some numbers. And I say that so incredibly humbly because this is one of my favorite programs to coach, because you have so many of the holy cow, it's working moments. If this is something you're interested in, come hang out with me on Instagram at This Is Madison Page. If you love my podcast, if you binge my podcast, you will literally be mind blown by this program. This is me and you working together. This is getting the actual what, why, how to do everything I'm always talking about having you need to do. When I talk about consistent sales, I talk about the 7 types of content. I talk about standout, desire marketing, community building. You will understand what it is you need to do. And my podcast will make a lot more sense because you'll actually understand all of the strategy behind it. What I teach in my podcast is probably only 5% of the actual overall, because I teach the how-tos, I teach the frameworks, I teach the actual full picture of everything that we are doing. If you're looking to build confidence, really understand how to build your business on social media, Product to Profit is for you. Come on over. You can either click the link in the show notes and apply, or just head over to my Instagram at This Is Madison Page and DM me PTP, and I would love to chat with you about that there. If you have absolutely any questions, I am an open book. This is a program. I am not here to hard sell you. I am just here to educate you on what I'm going to teach you, what it's like to be inside, in order to have you make an empowering decision in order, whether it's for you or whether it's not the best time for you. So come on over to my Instagram. We can have a really easy and natural conversation about it. I have a lot of other podcast episodes that are just kind of speaking about what the program is all about. I have client studies on my podcast as well. If you type in client on my podcast, you will see a lot of client stories and their results and their experience inside. Realizing that if you are still struggling with this and you have been working on it for a very long time and you have been trying to make it make sense for you, you've been trying to figure it out, you've been waiting, hoping a video goes viral, and you've been just making all of these little tweaks and you're still frustrated, it's probably because there's a major gap somewhere that you just are missing, which there's nothing wrong with it. Business is a skill set, and you just weren't, none of us were born knowing this. I had to learn this. All of my clients had to learn this. Major business owners that own your favorite companies out there had to learn these certain things in order to make the business to where it is today. It is the foundations of really having a thriving business is these 4 things. This is what you need. So if you have any questions on this, click the link in the show notes and you can head over to my Instagram, DM me PTP, and I would love to have a conversation with you about it. We start in just a couple of days. This is the official last call to join. If you are constantly listening to this time after time after time, and you're always listening to my podcast round after round, and you're like, I'm still not yet to consistent sales, and these people are seeing 25x, 10x, they're seeing major sales results, they're quitting their 9-to-5, and I'm still struggling, this is a wonderful supportive program for you. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Reach out with any questions. I hope this was helpful as well. Whether you want to join PTP or not, I still want to be able to provide support. You need to understand your foundations. You need to really figure out your marketing, building desire. Desire is the number 1 word I can tell you about your social media presence. How can you build desire? How can you make your audience feel something internally? How can you connect with your audience? Really have that tight-knit community involvement? And then how can you turn your online systems into a sales funnel? How can you make it where your systems are naturally selling, naturally funneling people into different areas? And that is where we are trying to go. I hope you have the best day ever. I love you. I'm rooting for you, and I'm in your corner always. Head over to my Instagram. Let's chat about PTP. If you are dying to go all in on your business, you know this is the time. The summer is a good time for you, and you're wanting to get situated before the holidays. You have a solid strategy, so this holiday season is the best holiday season yet. This is the perfect time to join. I hope you have a great day. I will chat with you very soon, and I love you. I'm rooting for you, and I'm in your corner always. I know I said it already.